Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Factorio Beginner's Guide by yours truly, Rude Negative. Let's get cracking. My god. So I've done a little bit of work off camera. I got some lights up. I need to keep grabbing the iron though, because the iron supplies are starting to run low. We'll grab that. Make sure that we've got plenty of that on board. Now, this is just running freely at the moment. Now, I want to explain something. This is what's called a buffer chest, okay? It buffers whatever comes out of the machine. So, because I'm not doing any research currently, but I still want the research packs, it'll just keep doing it. Now, we can also limit this as well by just clicking the red X and saying, okay, well, I only want one stack, okay? It's very important, especially with things like gear wheels, where you're never really going to want that many of them on hand. Anyway, so I've thrown down some mining for the copper. You can see right now it's putting the copper ore onto a belt. I've also got some iron plumbed in and over here, and then some coal as well. And I'm putting it onto 3 belts really prettily, and it's awesome. Now, I finished up some research. I finished up the military research. So if I go to the tech tree, and I'll show you guys, military. Okay, this research gives us the submachine gun, the shotgun, and shotgun shells. If I open the crafting menu by pressing E, and you see here, now I can craft a submachine gun. I want this. We can also craft ammo. So I'm going to craft some ammo. I'm going to craft 20 ammo. I'm going to move this over as well. Now by pressing Q, I can select a different weapon. What I'm going to do is I'm going to press C, and I'm going to destroy these rocks. They're out of my way. You may notice that I'm taking up plenty of room. I'm taking up plenty of space with this entire factory. You know, I'm nowhere near where I started. And that's because I know that I'm going to run out of space if I stay really close. I need to spread things out so that we've got it if we need it. We've got the space if we need it, per se. Okay, so we've got that. Now we need to start building our first furnace. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build one for iron. So the way I like to build it in the early game is very simple and straightforward. Go 2 furnaces gap, 2 furnaces gap. Okay, now that's 6, 8, and that'll do us. We want output in the middle. And then we're going to go 2 furnaces gap, 2 furnaces gap, 2 furnaces gap, 2 furnaces. Now, why am I adding a gap, may you ask? Power. That's all very nice. Now, this is the kind of stuff that you learn over the time. And right now, what we're going to need is we're going to need inserters for all of this. But for the moment, what we're going to do is we're going to set up the inflow paths. Okay? We're going to have one there, one there. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to use a splitter to split the inflow. Like that. Now, I'm going to do something that I would encourage you not to do in the future, but this is just so that it looks pretty and it's nice and easy. Now, to craft iron plates. To craft iron plates, it takes iron ore and something to drive the furnace. So, what we're going to do is we're obviously going to bring the iron ore in, and we also need fuel. So, a splitter so that this looks halfway decent. So we're just going to combine the belt like that. Now the wonderful thing about splitters is that it splits. So we've now got the beginnings of our furnace up and running. Now, ideally you would place these onto separate belts. So have one for iron and one for coal. Actually, I think I might do that. I want to show you guys how to do it right. Whilst this looks really pretty, I don't like it. I'm going to end up with pockets full of resources now. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to change the design slightly to better accommodate separate belts. Because the fuel supplies aren't really that intensive for a furnace build like this. Like, the amount of coal that you use isn't that much. You use more in things like your power. Like, your power will use way more coal. So what we're going to do is we're going to add 2 belts in the middle. And you're going to see a little bit of this in this series, guys. You're going to see me change my mind. Because I'm doing this on the fly. I have no script. I have no preconceived plans. I just know that I need to build a factory, so I'm building it. And I'm using the knowledge that I've accumulated. Whoa, that's a little bit too far. Calm down there, Sparky. Okay, so you'll notice also that I'm using the hotkeys to bring up whatever I want to build. I suggest that you use them as well. So, for example, that's shift 4, and I know that that's my power pole. And when I want to build more belts, I press 1. It just speeds things up so much. I haven't lined anything up very well, and if I was really thinking about this, I would have lined that up. Actually, I probably still can. OCD, ladies and gentlemen, it's a real problem. And I know that by changing things and fixing things now, I don't have to come back and fix them later. So I think that's the best bit. So we've got our fuel, okay, and we just need to get our ores now. So what we're going to do is just send this underground briefly, because I'll need a splitter here. Rightio. So the last thing that we're going to need before we turn this on is a whole bunch of inserters. Now we have 8 per side, which means that we're going to need 32 yellow ones and 16 red ones. So we're going to need a lot of stuff. Come back down here, we'll grab some more things. Now the good news is that I have plenty of fuel in my pockets now, all because I picked up all the things. Now then, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Did like 15 of those. We'll see how we go there. I've possibly got too much stone on me as well, but that's okay, because we will use it up eventually. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have red-handed inserters obviously picking up from the far belt, and then yellow-handed inserters going to the near belt. Because in Factorio, what you have is you have your belt, right? And I have no inserters currently. Here's an inserter, brilliant. If we have something being moved from here to here, what it'll do is it'll pick it up and it'll put it on the outside of the belt. And notice how these belts have 2 lanes. Okay, so an inserter moving in this direction will put it in this right-hand lane. Inserter moving in this direction, we'll put it on the left-hand lane. Something important to remember It's kind of a key concept of the game. So what we're going to do is we're going to run along and go, okay, well this is all output, 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 output. Okay, input. I've got nowhere near enough inserters. Dang. Should be close. Then what we're going to do is we're going to set these long-handed inserters. Now you'll notice that the difference between these inserters is how far away they can pick up. So the red-handed inserters can effectively pick up over a belt. Okay, so this won't actually pick up from this square, it picks up from this square. And that's why we use this, so that we can get away with more of a compact build. So I'm going to say, all right, well, you're going to pick up the fuel and put it in the furnace, pick up the fuel, put it in the furnace, pick up the fuel, put it in the furnace. Brilliant. Now this is going to do the opposite. It's going to take the iron plate and put it on the belt. Okay, that's that. Shift 1 for inserters. Okay, we're going to say, right, you're going to take fuel. And this furnace build, ladies and gentlemen, will supply our needs for, you know, the immediate future. We will need to expand it at some point. That is for sure. But this is pretty much going to do us for quite a while. And it's going to allow us to move on to other things. So, let's review. We've got our fuel, we've got our raw product coming in. It looks like everything's hooked up, but everything's flashing. So I suppose the only real thing left to do is to turn this bad boy on and see if it does work or not. Oh wow, look at all the arms. So you see up here, we're actually missing a red inserter because obviously this is out of fuel. So we'll fix that. Okay, that's working now. Oh, look at that. Like silver gold coming out. Silver gold. That's an oxymoron if I've ever heard one. So that's great. So we've got that set up. Now we need to do the same thing with copper, because copper is important as well. So we're basically just going to duplicate the build. Okay, this here is going to be the copper input line. Now something that we're going to do really quickly is we are going to place a little build straight on this line, just temporary. Okay, because we've got our belt construction down to the south, but we want to effectively make it unlimited. We're going to need lots of belt, like tons of transport belt. Tons. What we'll do is we'll just make a really quick build, and this is just temporary. This is just until we can get a little bit more organization. Need a couple more than that. There we go, like that. Go like that. Shift 1 for inserters. Okay. There we go. So that's going to build transport belt for us now, and we can move our build up, which I'll do right now actually. While I'm thinking about it, we need some lights so you guys can see what's going on. Factorio is a rather dark game, especially for YouTube. YouTube seems to darken everything up. Oop. I was too quick. Now the other nice thing, this means we can decommission our small build down to the south. You can see that this is just using this up quite nicely. What happens is the furnaces will actually hold 100 units of the material. It'll hold 100 units of iron plate, for example, until it can actually move it. So you see down here that these have all continued to craft until it's had 100 iron plate. We'll pick these up now. because we are finished with them. They've done their job, and they've done it admirably. Now we just need to move on. So we've got a really nice start going here. I'm really happy with how this is going. The scouting, you can see that on the mini-map, things are steadily being scouted out, which is great. We're just going to come up here, throw down a quick box. Yep, that works. And we're going to limit this box. Okay, this is very temporary. Okay, this is all going to get very, very changed. It'll be radically different. I have a rock in the way. We must kill it. Because in Factorio, rocks and trees, they are the true enemy. They must be eradicated. Anything that affects the order of the factory. Not enough transport belt. Good thing I moved this up. Okie dokie. Now what we're going to do is, as I said, duplicate the build. And this will be overkill for copper. Generally with copper you don't need anything anywhere near the size of your iron. But we'll do it because why not? We can actually we can right click and remove what we're crafting. If we decide we don't want it anymore. Okay, so this is going to be fuel. This will be outflow. Okay. Space it out, 2, then a gap. And working power poles into your designs is often, it becomes quite difficult, especially as your factory grows. Put that down there, then here. Now with our copper smelting up and done, we can start to work on the factory proper, which is quite exciting. I'm just going to keep topping up my belt supply, making sure that I've got enough on hand to continue building. Okay. Okie dokie. Now I'm going to need to do a little bit of trickery in here because I've crammed myself in quite tight. Generally what you want to do is you want to spread things out. Don't be afraid of spreading things out. So we will go like this, and actually we'll put it here so that it's the same as what we're doing over on the other side. And we will back this up by 1 so that we can do this. Oh, actually, hey, it works. It'll be fine. Now, as I said about setting up your hotbar, you can see that I've got transport belt, splitters, underground belt. This is always the same for me. I always know that number 3 is my underground belt. Now you may have noticed that I've actually built this and now I'm plumbing it in. The reason I do that is building your designs backwards is the best way of making everything line up. And when I say build it backwards, what I mean is build this part first, know where you want to go, and then it's just a matter of connecting the dots, going from A to B. It's a much, much simpler way of building. Alrighty. So we've got our... Yep, so we've got our copper, we've got our fuel, now we just need inserters. Inserters for days. Now what I'm going to do with all of this iron ore is I'm actually going to make sure that all of these have 50 in them. It's the easiest way of getting it out of my pockets to begin with. Same with the fuel. So I don't need, you know, 400 coal in my pockets. It's just excessive, really. Now we've got our inserters being crafted. They'll be changed into long-handed inserters. And I think what I'll do is off camera, I will get the copper inserters down so that it's all ready to go. And then in the next episode, we're going to start to work on some basic automation. We're going to automate a few bits and bobs that we're going to need in the very near future. So I look forward to seeing you then.